Hey guys, this is the first video in a string of videos I'm going to be doing about changing the engine in my Bonanza F33A. I'm going from an IO520 to an IO550. Ordered the engine 10 weeks ago. It's a factory reman straight from Continental. Engine came. This is how it came. It comes in a big crate. This is kind of how it comes when you get it. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of take the plastic off here so we can get a good look at it for the first time. So that's what it kind of looks like when it comes from Continental. You're seeing it for the first time, just like me. They preserve it when they send it to you, so there's some preservative stuff you got to undo, to start putting it in. But one of the things I asked them when I ordered it was it going to come with the engine mounts? The engine mounts I'm talking about are these puppies right here. They bolt to the oil pan, and that's what your shock mounts in your airplane. That's the motor mount. They said no, that's not going to be coming with the engine. You have to take them off your old one, put them in a new one. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that they are new. So that was one good thing, one good surprise I had. I haven't really got, this over here is the BDS baffle kit that I'm going to be putting on it. So that's one of the first things I'm going to be doing really is start putting the baffle kit on it. There's a couple things that's going to keep me from finishing that completely, which is I got to take the alternator off my old airplane, get it rebuilt, sending it back east to get rebuilt. Got to get the governor rebuilt. All that stuff has to be on the airplane as the baffles go on. So I need to get those rebuilt and back so I can finish it completely. But it gives me, there's quite a bit I can do to get started. So that's kind of what it looks like when you get it from Continental. One of the things I'm also going to be doing when I do this engine swap is I'm putting in 2 new G5s and a GFC 500 autopilot. So I'm going to be getting rid of all the pneumatic stuff, the vacuum pump, the standby vacuum pump, the vacuum, AI, all that's going out at the same time. So when it gets done, it's going to be a really nice airplane. So stay tuned. Hey guys, it's a little update. I'm starting to put on the baffle kit. And one of the things they tell you when you put the lower baffles in is to reconnect the factory fuel injection brackets to the new baffles, but the factory fuel injection brackets don't work. That's why DeShannon sends you new fuel injection brackets with the baffle kit. You have to replace the factory ones with the DeShannon ones. Here's a good idea, kind of what it looks like underneath when the baffles are installed. It's kind of what they look like, after you get the bottom baffles in. So it's the first part I've done. You do have to take the injection off, intake manifolds off to get to the baffles. I tried to do it without it. You can't do it. You have to take off the intake manifold. And there's 2 screws back here. You can't hardly even get to them. What you need to do there is you need a 7/16 swivel socket, not a universal and a socket, but a swivel universal socket all in one. 1/4 inch drive, 7/16, and grind the socket down a little bit so it's not as long, and they'll come right out. You can get them out. They look a little intimidating when you first look at them, but once you get the right tool, they come right out. So, be back. Okay guys, this is where I'm at so far with the engine. You saw me unpack it. I built an engine stand, got the dimensions from the install manual. It gives you the dimensions where the motor mounts are. So I made myself a stand. I had this rollaway sitting in my shop. I don't know what it was for, but it works bitchin'. Anyway, this is the stand, and gives you plenty of room to work on it on both sides. You can kind of sit in an office chair and roll around it like I've been doing. So I got most of the baffles in. Baffles in are done. Spark plug wires are routed. We got the this side done. This side I can't do until I get the governor rebuilt and get the governor on. Some of the supports bolt on where the governor goes. You know, if you follow the STC directions, it's actually pretty simple. Not simple, but you know, it's if you're, you know, halfway mechanically inclined, and you got the tools, it's not bad. So my son-in-law's an A&P. He's been kind of overseeing what I'm doing, plus my my regular A&P, he's gonna come up and take a look at it as well. So I've been kind of being supervised by a couple of A&Ps while I do it. And it's actually been pretty fun. So the only thing I have left to do is put the spark plugs in it and put the exhaust manifolds on it. Here's the airplane it's going in. Take a look at the engine that's in there now. Here's the engine that's in there now. It's an IO520. I'm going to a 550. And it's the original engine. It's got about 1,700 hours on it. It's actually still running pretty good. It's just that this year I got some time and I want to get the engine changed before I retire. So the prop is a Macaulay C406. I'm going to get the prop rebuilt. I'm going to keep the same prop I got. It's got some ADs, some restrictions on it, but can't really afford a new prop right now with everything else, because I'm also putting in a GFC 500 and a couple of G5s in as soon as the engine's done. It'll be a really nice airplane when it gets done. I don't know if you guys saw my previous video I replaced my interior. I did that myself, Airtex. And if you want to look at that, I got another video on how that whole thing went. So as I go along with the engine replacement, I will continue to do some videos so you can kind of get an idea what's involved taking the engine out and putting a new engine in. So I do recommend, though, when you get the new engine, get it on a stand like this, because the crate it comes in, it's hard to work on it. So I got plans for this stand. You know, if you want the plans for it, just give me an email or something, and I will make a comment in the video, and I will get you the plans. I'm at a Ramona right now, and there's a bunch of fires going on. We got C-130 tankers and all kinds of stuff going on here today. So it's been busy. Anyway, I'll get back to you. It's kind of a shot of the front baffles. You can see the clecos are still in it, but the front baffles are basically all done. And the next thing to do is to start working on the baffles on the cowling. So you can see those are all clecoed in. There's quite a bit of fitting and grinding and fitting you have to do to get these to fit properly. But once you get it figured out, it's really not too bad. Okay guys, next step in getting the engine out. Got everything disconnected off the back. The starter, the fuel lines, the electrical, the P-leads from the mags. Had to get out the exhaust and get all the sensors out of the heads. That's the JPI sensors I had to take out. Disconnect the control cables and loosen the motor mount bolts on this side. Same over here. Disconnect the control cables and the micro switches, just leave those hanging there. They don't need to come all the way out. Got to take the battery box out, get enough room in the back, so when you pick this engine up, it's going to move to the back, and then the back will go up, and then you can turn sideways to get it out. So that's the plan anyway. We're going to take it out in the morning. So here it is after we took the engine out. It came out pretty easy. We just lifted it up. I have a forklift there at my shop, and we just had a rod goes down and with a hook on the engine mount that you lift the engine with, and just pulled it up. It went straight back. We turned it sideways. It came right out. It was pretty pretty much a non-event. This is kind of what it looked like right after we took it out. Right here you can see that baffles, well, the one we got to cut out. All that's got to get cut out. For the old baffle has to be cut out for the new one to go in. I decided not to paint the stainless steel, the aluminum back firewall. I'm going to paint the rest of it, but I'm leaving the firewall basically aluminum, stainless, leaving it alone. So the only thing I'm really painting is the stuff you see that's got the primer on it there, or the corrosion protection. I redid a lot of this wiring too. I mean, I didn't really replace it all, but I rebundled it and cleaned it up, and that part turned out pretty nice. Motor mounts, they're bolted to the airframe, are like new. I mean, this airplane only has 1,700 hours on it. That's the baffle they have to cut out for the new DeShannon stuff. This is kind of looked like after I got it cleaned up. I basically masked everything off. I cleaned it up with some solvents and cleaners, and kind of used the Hudson sprayer to wash it all down through the bottom of the airplane. Had a tub underneath it to catch everything, but it cleaned up pretty nice, and it's got really clean. And this is it just before we started to paint it. Just about got it all masked off. Still got a lot of masking to go yet. Okay, it's ready to go. This is the paint we use. It's a 2-part Emron Matterhorn white. It's got double plunger system on it. It's really kind of unique. There's a plunger in the bottom of the can that you turn the can upside down, and you hit this plunger. It injects the hardener into the paint, and you shake it up again, and you have 24 hours to spray it before it gets hard in the can. So that's the paint I used, and it comes out really a fine mist. And so when you're spraying this, you really have to have a respirator for sure, and you also have to mask off the plane. You got to cover the wings, you got to cover the fuselage, because it does travel and it does get on the airplane. So make sure if you use this paint, which is a really good paint, that you really mask off the airplane good for it. This is sort of a picture after we got it painted. We put the engine in the very next day, and this here is a picture after the engine's back in. I went and had all the exhaust shrouds, the muffler, the shroud on the other side, and then this one here on this side, the left side, sent it down to get polished. It's got all new AWI stainless steel exhausts on it, new manifolds, new mufflers, new tailpipes. Anyway, it's pretty much all new, so turned out pretty good. Hey guys, just a little recap after I got the 550 all in and done. You can see that I put in new 2 G5s and a new autopilot, so I got rid of all the pneumatics. All the pneumatics are gone. Painted the engine compartment. New brake reservoir just because they look cool. The new Shannon baffles, I put all those on. Did most of this myself. My son's an A&P, my son-in-law is an A&P, so he kind of supervised me, but I did most of it. It's got new exhaust, new stacks, new tailpipes, new mufflers, and of course the new 550. Ran all the wiring. I kept a prop. It's a Macaulay prop. It's a good prop. You know, it still has the AD, the RPM AD on it, but had it rebuilt. Johnson propeller. They did a really good job on it. Sent the alternator out, got it rebuilt. New governor, got it rebuilt. Here's the new exhaust. All new hoses from GB. Repainted the battery box, tried to clean up the firewall, but turned out pretty nice. Installed these baffles too myself. Got them all caulked in, painted. Turned out really nice. There's a few, we put all new fuel hoses on it. Pretty much everything's new in here. Everything from the firewall forward is pretty much new. Did the modifications up front, and you have to cut off the old baffles. Cut all that out of there. You know, if you follow the STC instructions on the baffles, they're pretty easy to put on. There's a few little bit trimming here and there you need to do, but for the most part, it went on pretty much just like the instructions said. So I had 2 more A&Ps looking at it. When we put the motor back in, I had 2 other A&Ps come up from High Performance Aircraft. They change these engines all the time. They helped us get it back in, and that worked out pretty well. So it was really nice getting the opportunity to really do most of it myself. And you really learn a lot about how these things are put together and what it takes to maintain one and what you really should be looking for as you're flying it. You know, things that you need to be on the lookout for that maybe require a little bit closer look now and then. So it really gives you a good idea going forward, maintenance-wise, what you really need to be looking for when you're flying one of these airplanes. So it was a really cool experience being involved so intimately with changing the engine, and it was you know, learning experience, but it was well worth it. I was lucky because I have a couple, my A&P that does the regular maintenance on this airplane, knows me pretty well, and allowed me to do all of the work myself under his supervision, as well as my son-in-law. So it was a lot of fun. So if you get a chance to do it, I recommend doing it because you'll learn a lot and you'll be better for it. I wanted to show you all the pneumatics that I took out. This is everything you take out of your airplane when you no longer need the vacuum operated AI. So this is the engine driven pump, the standby pump, all the filters and piping and crap that comes out of the airplane. And Yeah, a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff here you don't need. All this is just to drive one instrument, the attitude indicator. That's it. So it sure cleaned up the engine compartment. Sure looks a lot cleaner without all this stuff in it. But anyway, I'll let you know if you do get to your, if you go to the G5 system, or G500 or G600 or whatever system you put in, and you don't need the AI anymore, take it out, because it's a lot of crap that you don't really need anymore. So, see ya. I said I was going to put in two G5s and a new GFC 500 autopilot. This is what the panel looked like after I got that complete. Yeah, I flush mounted the G5s. It already had the JPI 930. I put the autopilot, the JFC 500, right below the 930. That has to be flush mounted. If you don't flush mount that, then you can't get your gust lock in. But that's a really good place to put the autopilot. I'm really glad I put it there. It's much more accessible than putting over in the stack or somewhere else. So the placement worked out really well. And so it was a good way to go. And it turned the airplane into a totally different airplane. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.